Welcome back to the Isaac Abrams Show, everybody. I'm your host, Isaac Abrams. Today's very special guest, returning to us from episode 123, the very funny comedian Nicole Buchanan.
I think they all remember episode 123.
I mean, it's gone. It's legendary now.
Yeah?
It's in the podcast Hall of Fame. Since we spoke last, she wrote for The Roast of Tom Brady and Goodbye 2024.
Torching 2024.
That's a better word for it.
Both on Netflix.
That's right. One of which is the most watched thing on Netflix.
Yep.
What's that feel like?
Cool. It felt cool. Yeah, it was cool.
Cool.
I don't think it's because of me, but it could be.
It's not because of you.
Most people fast forwarded to the credits just to see my name.
You know what?
I saw millions of people.
Saw your name in the credits, and I was like, bam.
Yeah. You don't need to watch the rest of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Just go right to the credits.
Right to my name.
On this episode, we talked about those roasts. We caught up on comedy. We did some Would You Rathers. We talked about writing, getting in writers' rooms, getting out of writers' rooms, what it's like in a writer's room.
Murder fantasies.
Murder fantasies. That's at the end, so you're going to have to watch all the way to the end.
Yeah.
Make sure you follow Nicole everywhere on @Nicole Becannon.
Yes.
Soon to be Buchanan, but not yet.
I'm changing it.
It's official?
Maybe.
All right. Well, if you change it the next 2 weeks, I got to redo the whole.
I'll email you.
Okay. Thanks for watching, everybody. Check out another episode or two. Make sure you follow Nicole everywhere, and we'll see you next time.
Women can be president.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
For the record, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited that you're back.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I mean, we talked about this just a second ago off air, but you've had a pretty exciting month.
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah.
It's been a pretty exciting month.
I mean, I'm sure everybody knows, but you're the newest paid regular at the Comedy Store.
Yeah. I don't think everybody knows that.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, comics know.
Yeah?
But the rest of the world doesn't know who I am or what that means, I think.
I think they do now.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just learning it.
Yeah.
I forgot to put my jacket on, so I'm going to put that on. I'll probably have to say that again.
Okay.
Well, you know how you only hear from people you've never heard from, like, as soon as you start a podcast?
Yeah.
That's happening.
Yeah. As soon as you can't talk, everyone wants to talk.
Yeah.
I never want to talk, so.
Okay, well, we don't have to talk.
Yeah, can I just sleep? No, I'm not like a phone call person.
You know what? We talked about that.
Did we really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I have very little to talk about apparently.
No. We were talking about dating and on the apps, and then I said I screen people with a phone call, and you were like, "That would be it for me."
Yeah, I would never.
Never.
Mm-mm.
Still, and a year and a half later, you still aren't talking to people on the phone.
No, and I have a couple friends that have kind of made their way into like. I have some phone call friends who like I'll text them and then they'll just like immediately call me and I get annoyed, but eventually I was just like, all right, I guess this is just what I have to do with you. But those people I've been friends with long enough that I'm fine with it. But like if it's someone I've never met, God, no.
So are you wary about giving out your phone number because someone might call you?
Yeah.
You're like, just DM me. Is that better to DM on IG than it is to text?
Yeah. Well, or tech. Yeah. Yeah, Instagram's fine.
But Instagram has read receipts, and you can turn
Not
those off.
Not anymore. Yeah, you can turn them off.
You can?
Yeah.
Oh, I know what I'm doing after this.
You didn't know that?
I had no idea.
Yeah, you can turn them off now.
I still want to see them for other people.
Right.
I get left on read a lot.
Do you?
Oh, yeah. Because I'm just hounding people about coming on the show all the time.
Well, that's okay. Yeah. That's what you have to do.
Well, people everyone says yes, but I can tell now by the yes whether it's a no. They're like, oh, yeah, if they say, when do you record? Yeah. They're setting you up because they think you only record like Tuesdays at 4 so that they can say, I'm busy.
Oh,
but then I go, I work here. So whenever you're free, which puts them on their back foot, and then they have to find a whole new way to say no.
Gotcha. Okay.
But 2 no's, and I'm like, I'm never going to ask you again.
Yeah.
So
that's fair.
Yeah. Nobody wants to be over-asked to be on a podcast.
I think that was the rule when I worked at Disneyland is like if someone offers you, we weren't allowed to take tips, but if someone offered you twice and you said you got to say no twice, but then if they offered you a third time, then you could take it.
Oh.
Because in a lot of cultures, it's rude or something to not take it. I don't know.
Whatever. Did you have to accept it with both hands? Depending on where they came from?
No, I didn't have to accept it with both hands and bow.
Were you a character?
No, I worked like the rides in Adventureland, Frontierland. So I was like a Jungle Cruise skipper.
Oh.
I gave like the tours on the boat or whatever. Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun job to have in college.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
I can't believe we didn't get to Jungle Cruise skipper on the last episode.
I forget sometimes that I did that. I've had a lot of jobs.
It seems like a lot of successful comedians at the Comedy Store have had jobs at either Universal or Disneyland first.
Interesting. I mean, I grew up in Orange County, and I feel like that's just like a rite of passage. If you live in Orange County, you worked at Disneyland at some point, probably.
That's fair, because they're kind of always hiring, right?
They're always, I mean, they employ so many people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What's your take on Disney adults?
I would never be friends with them, probably. Actually, you know what? My friend Ed Larson is pretty into Disneyland, but yeah, I don't they're not generally people I associate with.
Do you make it back down to Anaheim a lot? Is the fam still down there?
Yeah, they are. They're in Huntington Beach. Actually, I go down there for Angel games mostly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you?
I do, yeah.
This is being recorded 2 weeks ago, and the Angels just beat the Dodgers 3 times in a row, which is the first time the Dodgers have lost 2 games in a row in 8 months.
Yeah, even though the Angels fucking suck right now.
They fucking suck, and we fucking sucked so much worse.
Yeah.
They're exciting games, though. They're high-scoring games.
Yeah.
Both teams' defenses suck. I know nothing about baseball, and I'm going to act like I do, but I watched a game the other night, and it was 11-9.
Yeah.
So congratulations I hope your team wins it all this year.
I don't think that's going to happen, but thank you.
The only time I've been to the Angels Stadium is for a Kenny Chesney concert.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Which one? Like, was it when Kenny Chesney was with Tim McGraw?
No.
It was by himself. That was the Boys of Summer tour. I went a long time ago.
It might have been like around 2014-ish.
Something like that, probably.
Between 2014 and 2016, it was my... I don't want to call it a phase because I grew up in the South, but it was my country era.
I had a country phase. I don't really listen to it anymore. But yeah, I definitely went through a phase.
Yeah. I'm more in my Swiftie era now.
Oh, I like that.
I think last time we talked, I had just seen her live.
You know what's funny is I used to really hate on her. Like when I was in like high school, like I thought I was so cool. Like I'd be like, "What, you like Taylor Swift? That's fucking gay." But now I love her. I love Taylor Swift.
She's grown with us.
Her it was when I like really started getting into the lyrics. I'm a lyrics person. And I was like, like a literature nerd, but she's for the literature nerds. She's got some lyrics. They're
She's got some sweet bars.
Yeah.
As the kids say. I feel silly even saying bars. It's so dumb. I'm such a, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, you can appreciate it. I mean, I don't, when she's singing, I'm just hearing like, nah, 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 nah. I don't hear the words, but I've heard other women tell me they appreciate the content.
Yeah.
Which I'm the fucking biggest male chauvinist in the world. I sound like an asshole right now.
No, that's fine. I'm also a male chauvinist.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Speaking of male chauvinists, you recently got a massive shout out.
I knew that's what you were about to bring up when you said that.
I just saw a path and I took it.
Yeah.
You got a massive shout out from Tony Hinchcliffe recently.
Mm-hmm. You know what's funny is when you said speaking, I didn't know if you were going to bring up Hinchcliffe or Bill Maher.
I mean, it's kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, it did. It was really nice of him to bring me up. That was surprising. Do you remember where you were when you saw it, or did your phone just start blowing up and everybody start sending it to you, or did you see it yourself? It was Mother's Day when it came out, and someone commented on like one of my Instagram photos and was like, "You were just shouted out on Bill Maher's podcast," and I went and listened to it, and it was really sweet. I got like emotional because it was really sweet of Tony to make sure to bring it up like that.
Yeah.
Because it was a cool night for me. So.
Was Tony in town that night too?
Mm-mm. Okay. I don't even think he was there. He wasn't there.
Right.
But the story just spread far and wide very quickly somehow.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Because were you the first person to be passed by the new booker?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. When does your name go on the wall?
July 25th, I think. Because they do it every year on Mitzi's birthday.
Oh, they only do it once a year?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know where yet?
No. I mean, if it's continuing from where they last left off, it's going to be in a pretty dark corner of the paid regular parking lot. No one's ever going to see it, but I'll know it's there.
You'll see it every time you park,
mm-hmm.
which is probably the best. It's got to be one of the best benefits.
I guess.
I mean, you've probably been able to park.
Name?
Well, no.
Oh, parking in the lot.
Parking in the lot's got to be sweet, right?
It is. Yeah. It's cool. Yeah, no, I was not able to park there, even as an employee. Unless you're hosting potluck, you can park in the lot.
Is that how they get people to want to host potluck, or does everybody want to host potluck?
It depends. People want to host it because they want to get their friends up in front of the booker. I think that's the main thing, is being able to kind of hook people up that you want to hook up with a spot. I always regretted agreeing to it.
Oh, yeah?
I always regretted agreeing to it. I would agree to it, and then I would, the day of, be like, I don't want to do this. It's like so long. It's a thankless job. You're doing like 3 hours of hosting.
Yeah.
And
400 people want you to put them up.
Yeah. And I was always just like, I am going to hate this. But I always ended up having fun. But like right before, I'm always like, oh, I don't want to do this. Yeah.
I've done potluck one time since I saw you last.
Oh, wow.
Zach Ciampolini was very kind to me.
He's very kind. He's a very kind person. Yeah. I love Zach.
Yeah, he's been on the show. And then I helped him with some YouTube stuff. And he's like, next potluck I do. And then I got a lot of hate from people who signed up. They were like, I thought you weren't coming to sign up. And I was like, I didn't. And now I lost like 4 friends.
Fuck the haters.
Yeah. I just saw a clip from Cat Williams this week. And it's an old clip. But he's like, if you ain't got no haters. And this is not me trying.
That's from the Pimp Chronicles.
Yeah.
It's maybe my favorite special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's every time I think about it, I'm like, I'm going to try and get me some new haters today.
Yeah.
New hater day.
I try to get them, and I can't. I can't get.
You just end up winning them over and making friends?
I think maybe I'm just not successful enough yet to have haters.
Oh, come on.
I'm still like an underdog, I feel. And so people don't really hate on me yet.
I'm sure getting past gave you some unknown haters.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, I think I'm sure there's people who hate me. I'm like 100% sure. No one's liked by everyone. But I feel like they're quiet about it. No one hates me to my face.
That's nice.
I don't know if that's nice.
You want them to hate you to your face?
Yeah, if someone hates me, I want them to hate me to my face.
Mm.
You know, I don't want them to be nice to my face if they hate me.
There was a comedian at the store 2 weeks ago. I'm not going to say who it was, but they were overserved. Mm-hmm. They were unhappy about something. And the person they were talking about's girlfriend was right around the corner.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And I was just like looking at them talk shit, looking at back. I was like, wow, I got to come by here more often.
Yeah, that'll happen. That's like the rule. If you talk shit on someone, they're going to be right behind you, mm-hmm. or someone they know is going to be right behind you. I remember I wasn't talking shit, but I remember seeing someone on a lineup and then just being like, who the fuck is, and then like saying their name because I was like, I just never heard of them before. And they're like, well, she's walking up right behind you. And I was like, oh, I wasn't talking shit. I was just like, who the fuck is that?
Does being passed come with like automatic like manager agent tour things that just kind of fall in line right away? Or did you already have all that stuff set up?
I got a manager a few months ago. But no, I don't think it automatically comes with anything. It's just that's the thing that I'm trying to tell like a lot of door guys that work there that are like really wanting to get past, and I'm like it's not what you think it's gonna be. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a milestone. It's a cool thing, but you still have to be like, okay, now what? Because now all that's happening is you're getting 1 to 3 spots a week at the store, but it's not going to mean anything. If you look at the wall, how many names do you see that you're like, who the fuck is that? You know?
Yeah.
And it's like someone who doesn't even do comedy anymore. And sometimes they'll show up at the store and be like, my name's on the wall. And you're like, cool. Like,
still not getting up tonight.
Yeah. So like, it's just a thing where it's like, yeah, you just, not much has changed. Other than like, I definitely feel like there are people treating me as peers that, you know, maybe didn't see me as a peer before. You definitely get a lot of attention like when it first happens, but after that it's just the same. You just go, okay, now I have another room where I can work out sometimes.
Yeah. You were a door guy?
Mm-hmm.
You're not. Oh, you can't be after you're passed, right?
I mean, it's kind of like an unspoken rule. You're kind of supposed to move on.
Were you a door guy up until you got passed?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
what are you doing with all your free time now?
The night I got passed, I was working. Or the night I was thrown on stage, I was working. And then I was passed the next morning. Which doesn't normally happen like that. Normally you get like a date to showcase. And then you showcase. And then you're told if you're passed. But it just happened in a weird way.
But to me, I think that's the perfect scenario, right?
Oh, for me, for sure.
No pressure, right?
I didn't have time to overthink it. I didn't know I was showcasing.
Yeah. I think given the choice of with or without the knowledge, I would go, don't tell me.
Yeah, it worked heavily in my favor because then when I had my first paid regular set, I did not like the way it went. And it was because I was so nervous.
Did you put pressure on yourself?
I put so much pressure on myself.
These people know I'm a paid regular now.
Well, and especially when you work there and then you get passed and you go up, you feel like everyone is watching you. And they are, most of them, to be supportive, you know, but like...
By everybody, you mean like the rest of the staff?
Staff.
Because hopefully the audience is watching you.
Other paid regulars, like, yeah, everyone is just coming in to like watch your set. And so I got really nervous my first paid regular set because, you know, Rose was watching, like everyone was watching, and I was like, I just felt the need to prove myself. And it like... It wasn't like terrible, but I was really, really nervous, and you could tell I was nervous, and it just wasn't my best. And I had to get over that. But yeah, I'm glad I didn't know I was showcasing, because I didn't put that pressure on myself to, I don't know, prove that I deserve.
Yeah, you just waited till the next night and put all the previous night's pressure back on yourself.
Yeah. I definitely for like 2 weeks was having like panic attacks. Not even just about that, but like losing the job. And just being like, now what? There's like a lot of change in general happening in my life. So I was spiraling a little bit, but I feel better now.
By job, you mean door guy.
Mm-hmm. Which was kind of a fall, like it was a safety net for me because I get writing jobs, but...
Yeah, you wrote on 2 of the biggest roasts last year.
But there are times where, you know, months go by where I don't have a job.
Right. And that's where the
door guy job, like, it saved me. And now I don't have that, so...
But do the paid spots make up for that?
Not the ones I get. Okay. Not yet. You know, the OR, the original room spots pay significantly less than main room spots. And I haven't gotten a main room spot yet. And then even the main rooms, it depends on how many tickets are sold, how many comics are on the lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it's an in-house produced show or an out-house produced show. Out-house produced show is not what I meant to say. They have independent producers that produce shows at the comedy show is what I meant by outhouse. But if I ever start a comedy production company, I'm now going to call it Outhouse Production.
I think that's a great name. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I've still been working with Jeremiah and Stand Up on the Spot, and he moved it from the belly room to the main room, but they gave him Mondays. Yeah. So it's just such a tough room to fill on a Monday.
I hats off to people who produce shows because I've been asked lots of time, would you be interested in I know I'd be bad at it. I'm not good at marketing things. I'm not even good at marketing myself. I have 5,000 followers, so I'm not good at that kind of stuff. I need to get better at it, but I don't think I would be good at selling tickets and producing a show.
Yeah, it's
which is probably why I should do it. I should learn that stuff.
Well, I mean, there's like a clock on why, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're going to be headlining in a year, do you need to produce a show in LA?
No, but I think that kind of stuff helps you get to headlining because you're doing the same thing, but for yourself. Like, either way, the goal is to sell tickets.
Mm-hmm.
One's for a show that you have other people on and whatever. The other one is just you by yourself selling tickets. Either way, I think it's a similar kind of thing where you have to figure out, how do I sell tickets?
Okay,
that's
fair.
Where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's really all that matters right now is I'm like, how do I get to a point where I'm selling tickets?
That is really like...
Because being a paid regular is great, but like the end goal is to make a lot of money.
Right.
And for that, you just got to sell tickets.
I had a conversation on Saturday with a comedian who's been doing it for 15 or 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just getting to the point where he's like, he can move a couple hundred in a random town.
Yeah.
But he's like, well, I want to book the 500-seater and I know I can spend X amount on Facebook and sell it out.
Mm-hmm. I'm
like, yeah, but are you willing to break even every night? Like, if you spent $8,000, you could make $8,000 a night. But then you're not, you know what I mean? Like, there's that break even number on Facebook where you like pump the tickets hard enough.
Yeah. It's tough.
I don't know why I'm going off on that, but
it sucks that now, like, I feel like 20 years ago, it would have been a lot better for me. Now you kind of have to be your own promoter, your own, like, everything, editor, videographer,
social media expert.
And I'm bad at all of that. And I wish I could just do comedy.
Right. Yeah. You're totally right. 20 years ago, if you were as funny as you are now, you would fucking be talking about a sitcom.
Yeah, yeah. So,
And it wasn't the height of the comedy boom.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to be a comic now.
Yeah.
Everybody has a podcast.
I'm sure that, there are ways it would have been a lot better for me 20 years ago and ways it probably would have been a lot worse for me. So.
That's true. Yeah. Let's talk about writing on roasts.
Okay.
Because you wrote on a bunch of roasts, but then since I've talked to you last, you did Tom Brady and then the roast of 2024.
I did, yeah.
Which it's called Torching 2024.
Torching 2024.
Which I got to see Jeff run his set a couple times and I photographed that. And then I got to see it online. I was like, oh, that's the progression from first idea to what made the show.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you your favorite between the two, but like, do you have like a memorable story from either one of those roasts that's just like, this was sick? I'm sure they were both sick. I'm not good at asking questions. I'm just realizing that now. This is episode 182 and I'm learning to ask questions.
They were both really fun to work on. I mean, the Tom Brady roast was just like a moment. Like, it was an event. Like, I don't think I've ever been more proud to have worked on something. Because, and it wasn't even about necessarily like the joke. Like, the jokes were good, whatever, but like there were just so many moments, like Bill Belichick like having a drink with, or doing a shot with Robert Kraft, when they like hate each other. Like Kevin Hart getting that to happen. There were just so many moments that couldn't have been scripted.
Yeah.
That happened that made it really special and like a cultural moment. And so just being involved in that was really cool.
It's the most watched thing on Netflix.
Yeah.
Period.
So being involved in that just felt very grand. And so that was really cool. And that would just also started a thing where I have worked with a lot of athletes since then, which has been cool. After that, I got a job writing on the ESPYs from a writer that also wrote on the Tom Brady roast. And then from there, I just did a few more things. And now I work with a lot of athletes,
there you go.
which has been cool.
Are you into sports?
Yeah.
What's your sport?
I mean, I'm a big baseball fan. I grew up on baseball because...
Yeah, we already talked about the Angels. God damn it.
My dad, is a huge baseball fan, and I just wanted him to love me. So I would go...
Did it work?
Yeah.
Working on it.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I liked going to games because they're so long. Like baseball's, it's shorter now because they added the pitch clock, but the games were so long and slow that like I would just be sitting there with my dad, and it would be like the first time that he'd be like, "So what are your friends' names?" Like it was just he would talk to me. So, and we had season tickets at the time for like 10 years. We had season tickets, so I was at Angel Stadium all the time.
What like decade of your life was it? Was it in your 20s, or was it like high school times, or?
I mean, when we had season ticket, like childhood.
Oh, like the formative years.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like the real growing up part.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, like around the time where they like were good, when they like won the World Series. I wasn't at the World Series. My dad was. But around 2001, 2002 was when I started to get into sports. I was like 8 or 9. Yeah, just to be able to talk to my dad about stuff. Because I remember also with football, my cousin, who was a little bit older than me, huge sports fan. He ended up working for ESPN. I think now he works for College Game Day or something. I don't know. He works in that world. But I just remember like him talking about sports, and my dad talking to him, and me being like, this is the most engaged I've ever seen my dad in a conversation. And so I was like, I need to learn about sports. And that's kind of how I got into that. So, yeah, big Angels fan, big Raiders fan.
Raiders?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you been to Vegas for a game?
I have, yeah. A few times.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I have not yet been to that stadium, but I hear...
It's cool.
Yeah.
I also went there for a Billy Joel concert.
Which one was better, the game or the Billy Joel?
They were both good in different ways. I love Billy Joel. It was fun. I cried twice.
I think they did a Billy Joel song for the opening of the last episode of SNL on Saturday night.
Oh, really?
Piano Man? Yeah. Do you watch SNL?
I think he hates playing that song.
Oh, yeah. If you had to do something over and over again every night of your life, but it's the only reason people paid you, wouldn't you hate it too?
He's like in tears playing. Like, why is this my life?
They're cracking a whip on him like, play Piano Man, motherfucker.
Yeah. Which is ironic because that's kind of what the song is about.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. But yeah, the Allegiant Stadium, it's really cool. I went once to the Oakland Coliseum where they played before that because my dad wouldn't let me go to a Raider game till I was 18.
Smart.
Because
you want to be an adult if you're going to get stabbed.
They're insane. Yeah. Fun.
Was it crazy?
It was not as crazy as I thought it was going to be. It was just a lot of yelling, like a lot of men yelling and with painted faces.
Yeah.
But I didn't see any like cool fights or anything.
I went to my first NFL game about a month after the last time we chatted.
Oh.
It was a it was an Indianapolis Colts game. Mm-hmm. They play inside. Mm-hmm. And we were there on the road with, I'll say his name now, Drew Lynch. Mm-hmm. I'm not assuming that you also listened to our last podcast on your way here like I did. It was cool, but I only got to watch like a quarter and a half.
Oh.
And we were way up high.
To me, it's always way more fun to go live. I mean, even sports I don't watch, I like attending live. Like, I don't really watch hockey, but I love going to a hockey game.
Oh, the spectacle live, this is how I try and describe it. Like, before I had been to an NFL game, I was like, yeah, it's like a massive thing they do on Sundays. It's cool. But seeing it happen, you're like, oh, I get it. This is great.
Yeah.
Which is how I try and describe NASCAR, which people are like, NASCAR, that's just watching cars go in a circle. But when you're there, and 200 cars go by at the same time, you can like feel it in your chest.
Yeah.
Which is like, are you into that or not? Like, but I don't know. NASCAR, they used to have 2 races at Pomona a year. Now they only have 1. So if you miss it, you got to wait a whole nother year for racing.
Yeah. NASCAR. I've never been to a NASCAR race. I've been to a monster truck rally.
Oh, dude. Are you talking about excitement?
Yeah.
That's insane. I love monster truck stuff.
Yeah.
It's a family value. It's $10.
It's fun. I was never like into it, but my dad took me when I was a kid, and I was like, whoa.
Was it at the stadium? Was it at Anaheim?
It was, yeah.
Oh, that's outside.
Yeah, it was outside.
I've never been to an outside one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it was fun. They would also do like the demolition derby where like a bunch of cars would just fucking run into each other.
When I was a kid, I was like, these guys must be quadrillionaires because they're just trashing cars. Yeah. Especially when I was like getting at the age where I was like working to save up for my own car.
Yeah.
I was like, those are cars. Someone could be driving those cars.
It does seem wild. Yeah.
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 And sometimes they just keep the frame and the motor and they just bolt new shit on it and wreck it again the next week.
Yeah.
Billionaires. Just wrecking cars. If I ever make $1 trillion, that's
what you're gonna do.
I'm gonna own all of them and just hire 20 comedians to bash each other.
Yeah.
Comedy derby night. That's a bad name. We'll workshop that.
I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Just watch people wreck each other's cars.
Watching comedians do any other thing is a good time.
Well, we're bad at every other thing usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except talking
We're
good.
not super athletic people or good at really anything. A lot of comedians I think also do like music.
You think so?
Yeah. I think like a lot of like the kind of older guys are really into like music. Marin and
enjoying it, but not necessarily. Well, he plays guitar.
Yeah. And for some reason like every female comedian I know can sing.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like they can all sing.
What do you think was the choice for going to comedy instead of trying to be a singer?
It's easier. Less I don't know, barrier of entry, maybe.
Comedy.
I mean, I guess both you can go to open mics, but like, yeah, I don't know.
It is considerably less expensive to become a well-known comedian than the marketing budget of becoming a pop star.
And I think it's easier to become better at being a comedian. Like you can be bad and then get good. But like, I think there's only so much better you can get as a singer, you know?
Yeah.
You can take lessons and get better, but you're not going to be.
You're kind of born with what you got
amazing
as far as singing goes.
Yeah.
Huh.
And also like, I feel like you can be ugly and be a comedian.
Oh, well, thank God.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on musical comedy?
What are my thoughts on musical comedy?
This is a tough one because if you hate it, then there's only going to be like 6 people that we know you're talking about.
Yeah.
But here's why I'm asking. So I'll give you an out.
Uh-huh.
I want to incorporate music into my comedy. I want it to be a variety show. I don't necessarily want to just stand up there and talk for an hour. So
if I say I hate it, you're going to not do it?
Maybe. I'm very insecure.
Okay.
Nicole said not to. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it anyway because that's what I want to do.
Look, I think like everything, there's a lot of bad musical comedy out there, but when it's good, it's really good. Well, I can't think of any. I loved when I growing up. I loved Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
And like, one of my like favorite moments in like any movie is The Wedding Singer when he sings like "Somebody Kill Me, Please." Yeah. So like I was a big fan of that, and I love Sandler. I'll still watch his specials where he plays musical, but other than that, when I was a kid I liked it. When I was a kid I really liked it. So maybe that's, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think Sandler will do some stand-up, and then he'll pick up his guitar and do a song.
Yeah.
And I think...
I loved, like, The Lonely Island.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think, like most things, there's a lot of, like improv. It's mostly bad. Mm-hmm. But when it's really good, it's really good.
Yeah. I think I'm creating this take on the fly. So let me see if I actually agree with myself after I spit it out. But I think like a well-crafted comedy song is different than like noodling on a guitar and then just like saying words. Mm-hmm. But as I'm saying that, I'm also thinking that Nick Thune is one of the funniest people I've ever met. Mm-hmm. And that's what he does. Zach Galifianakis noodled on the piano and said funny things. But those are like the two like top of the pops kind of dudes. I
I guess I wouldn't even. Yeah, Zach Galifianakis, I've seen do that, but like for some reason I've never thought of it as musical comedy. So I don't know.
Do you think that's more comedy with music happening in the background?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Dimitri Martin would do that also.
Right.
He would just like play but he was just like saying one-liners over the guitar.
Right.
So I don't know.
That's a tough one. Because the hard thing to figure out if you want to incorporate music into your comedy is what instrument is it going to be? Because it's either going to be piano or it's going to be guitar. Mm-hmm. Unless you're an outlier, you're Weird Al Yankovic, you're going to play accordion. Well, I don't know how to play accordion.
Yeah.
Which would involve learning piano first.
Sure.
One-handed piano, and then learning how to squeeze and talk at the same time. That's never going to happen. I don't want to drag a guitar around with me everywhere. Mm-hmm. So I have plenty of excuses.
These are things you have to think about.
Yeah. I have been recently buying a ton of gear.
Okay.
But it's all just sitting around the house.
Do you do music separately?
I moved here with my band to do music in 2006.
Okay. So you want to maybe like mash them together.
Yeah, I think if I was being super honest, I feel like I'm too old to start the band again. That would be sad.
Right.
Bunch of almost 50-year-old guys trying to start a band. Sad.
Yeah.
But almost 50-year-old guy singing funny songs.
Sure.
Even sadder.
Doing it for fun. I mean, I know a lot of, I work with a lot of old, I don't want to say old men.
Yeah, dude.
You guys are old. No.
Older than you.
I work with a lot of writers, comedy writers that have been around for a while. And all of them like to kind of get together. They don't have like a band, but they like to get together and just, jam.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's who I was thinking of. Like most of them don't do stand up anymore, but the like kind of older comedy writers that I know all like to play music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Music's fun. And it's hard to find a drummer.
And I think that's fun. I think that's fun to just kind of get together with your friends and, fuck around like that.
It's the best.
Yeah.
The hard part, though, is if you get together with your old band, is remembering your old songs. Mm-hmm. I don't even know what they were called, let alone how to play them anymore. Right.
Well, that's why you just got to get together and play other people's songs.
I don't know those either.
Oh.
I'm a horrible musician. I'm also a horrible comedian. I can't remember my own jokes. I can't remember my old songs.
There are times when I'm about to go on stage and I'm like, what are my jokes? I don't know any of my jokes. And then I remember them and then I go, oh no, I hate them. I hate them all.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that because I feel exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Like when I think of a joke and I write it down, I'm like, oh my God, everyone's going to pee themselves.
I never think that.
So funny. And then I read it on the phone to a buddy and they're like, I'm like, the end? And they're like, oh, I was waiting for the punchline.
I never think, oh my God, this is so good. I'll like try something and it'll like go really well and I'll be like, really?
You guys like that?
You guys like that? But and then something will happen where like the first couple times I try it, it'll like murder and then it'll bomb forever for the rest of of eternity.
You ever go back and watch the tape and go, oh, I was saying it different?
Okay, so here's the thing about me that I need to change is I never do that. I never record my sets. I need to, because you should be doing that. Everyone should be doing it.
Somebody should be doing it for you, but yes.
But, well, when I can afford to pay someone to do it for me.
Well, I mean, all of the clubs have cameras and audio now.
Yeah. Well, no, there are, at the Comedy Store, they now have them in 2 of the rooms. The OR is more, it's like supposed to be like a workout room. So they don't really have that. But, yeah, even then I never, it's hard for me to go back and watch myself.
Yeah, it is tough.
Because I hate myself. So watching it, I'm like, oh God, shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This show has helped me get over hating myself on camera.
Mm.
So I hate myself a little less.
That's good.
When I see stand-up clips.
That's good. Yeah.
A little less.
I'm not sure I'll ever get over it. I don't enjoy watching myself. It's bad.
Well, then don't. Just do the audio.
And then like I would be convinced to post clips and I would post a clip. And then people will be like, she looks like Smeagol from Lord of the Rings. And I'm like, yep, I agree. I thought that too. And now you confirm that. And now I'll never post anything ever again. Thank you.
Oh man, you gotta post and ghost.
I know.
You can't read that stuff.
It's hard not to. I feel like if I was getting like millions of views and like a bunch of there would just be too many comments to read. But right. I'm in a place where there's, there's not that many comments. So if one of them is mean, I'm going to see it.
So if you have a message for Nicole,
drop it in the comments.
Yeah.
If you want.
She's not going to read your DMs, but
yeah,
she'll check those comments.
Hit me up in the comments. I'll cry and I'll probably go to your profile. And it'll be private, and you'll have like a picture of your dog, and I'll be like, "Damn it!
I want to be friends with this guy now."
I can't even say anything back because I don't know what you look like. But yeah, I am trying to get over that.
The saddest thing about social media is that it doesn't reward quality; it rewards volume.
Yeah.
So the guys, I say guys as a gender neutral statement coming from the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
The people that are posting the most are just eventually, and I'm just as guilty of this.
Yeah.
I do okay on YouTube because I post on YouTube every day.
Yeah.
But bookers don't look at your YouTube; they look at your Instagram.
Sure. Yeah, it's one of my goals to get better at that and to just not worry so much about everything being perfect. I had to learn that in writers' rooms, I think when I first started getting writing jobs, I was very quiet, and when I would pitch stuff, it would go well, but I would not pitch often. And or if we would submit jokes, everyone else would submit like 50 and I would submit like 10.
But yours were 10, like good ones.
Yeah. But I was over editing myself because sometimes I'll think of a joke and I'll be like, no, it's not that good. And then someone else will say that joke, the same joke, and it'll like crush in the room.
You're
and
like,
I'm
I
like,
thought of it before you.
Yeah, I was going to say that, but I didn't think it was good enough.
You're the one not laughing. Yeah, Larry.
So I've learned from people that I've worked with who are just kind of volume shooters, like just kind of throw everything at the wall. Because even if it's like an unfinished concept, someone else might pick it up and run with it. You know, that's what's fun about a writer's room is it's like a very team oriented thing. Yeah. So like being able to just kind of get out of your own head and say what the first thing that comes to your mind is a skill that I have had to learn, and I'm still learning. It's not easy, but I'm trying to overthink less.
That's great.
Yeah.
Because once you find that freedom, and I only know this because I'm caught up on hacks, so I know all about writers' rooms now.
Okay.
Once you just get that freedom, and I wouldn't say I know anything about a writer's room, but like if a couple of comics are on the road together and like somebody throws a riff out there, then it's tag, and everybody's just kind of like joking around. It doesn't become anybody's bit, but like you have that intimacy with those people and you're like, I feel safe to joke around with these folks. Yeah. And then if you can develop that in a writer's room, it's got to be an amazing feeling.
Yeah. And I think I've been lucky that I've worked with like a lot of the same people because that's really how it happened. I mean, there's people who will submit packets and get jobs like that. But really how it's worked for me is I got in my first one. And then from there, someone from that room hired me on something else. And then someone from that room hired me on something else. And so I've worked with a lot of the same people and I'm very comfortable with them, especially like with all the roasts I've worked on. It's a lot of the same people. Mm-hmm. So the more I do, the more I'm comfortable with them and being able to throw stuff out there for sure.
Now, here's what people will probably want to know at home. If I didn't know anything about comedy, I would go, a roast is just full of comedians. Why are you writing on it?
Yeah. Well, roasts aren't just full of comedians. They'll have a few comedians, and then, like the Tom Brady roast, it was a lot of athletes. Right. On the Alec Baldwin roast, there were a lot of actors and other kinds of celebrities. And then even when it's comedians, it's an event that, a lot of times you'll find out maybe 3 weeks before that you're booked on it. And so like you don't have time to work all of that out on your own necessarily. Mm-hmm. So like yeah, they'll have help. I mean, it's funny because I write for a lot of other comedians, and a lot of times people be like, oh, he has writers, she has writers. I'm like, yeah, because they're doing so much. Like, they're on this show today, and then they have to fly and be on this show tomorrow, and then they have to go and do this thing this day. Like, they're doing so much, they can't not have writers. Like,
yeah.
And the thing is that doesn't make them less good. In fact, like, I've written for people in scenarios where they have zero comedic instincts and ones that have very good comedic instincts. And there's definitely a difference. And they know what's funny. They know what's going to work for them. And some of them, you know, they can take a joke that you wrote and make it even better. So yeah, you do most of the work for, like, you know, on the Tom Brady roast, we were writing for Tom Brady and Randy Moss and Drew Bledsoe and all of them. So yeah. Roasts have writers. Long story short.
But it makes me think of, who's the tall guy? Ben Affleck came out.
Yes.
And kind of ate shit, which makes me think he didn't listen to the people that wrote for him, or he was a surprise.
He didn't really come in at all. Like, I don't think he prepared.
I know you're trying to be very kind right now. That's what I heard from a ton of people, was that he just, the reason he ate shit is because he tried to do his own stuff.
Even on the day of, like, he came in halfway through the roast starting. Like, he just kind of came in, went through the stuff on the teleprompter, and then you know, there was a guy in there that was trying to help him for sure. But yeah, sometimes, you know, people just aren't prepared. I don't know if he knew how big of an event it was going to be. And yeah, I mean, that's really, it happens on every roast that there are 1, 2, even 3 people that just kind of fumbled and weren't prepared, or they, like, had too much pride to use the writers. Like, that'll happen sometimes with comedians that think all the other comedians aren't using writers, and they're like, I'm not using writers. and so they're like, I'm not gonna, and they get, like, insulted when you try to give them jokes, and you want to tell them, like, they're all using writers also, and don't let your pride get in the way of you doing well.
That makes me so happy.
Yeah.
You're the second comedian. The last episode was Jeff Harris, and he told me how many people he writes for. And then you say you write for people. I love that thought, because I think I'm probably going to get rich before I get good at comedy. So I just can't wait to go, let's all get in a room.
If you get rich, hit me up anytime.
Yeah. I have 2 questions based on that.
Okay.
One, what's the latest the jokes get locked into the teleprompter before you shoot? Like, is it a day before? Is it day of? Like, are you writing right up until?
Yeah.
What's the deadline for the teleprompter?
There is a deadline, but most of the time you're making changes right up until it's go time.
I would hate to be the teleprompter guy.
Oh, it seems stressful for sure. With the Brady roast, because it was live, it was like it aired live, that we kind of had to lock in before it started with the talent, because, like, you couldn't tell them if there were changes made, so that was a little different. But yeah, for most tapings, like, you're writing all the way through. Yeah.
And then you said sometimes you don't find out that you're booked until 3 weeks before, so it's about a three week. It's about a month-long gig, maybe.
For us as the writers, I mean, it depends, but yeah, usually around that. And then for the talent, like, they could be booked the week before sometimes. And Kim Kardashian, we didn't know she was gonna be doing it until, like, a few days before. So it really just depends. And there's people who drop out, and then you have to replace them. And that's why, like, when you first start a job like that, you write so many jokes that just never see the light of day or get used, because when you first go into the room, a lot of times there's a wall that has everyone for roasts that has everyone's picture that is booked up on the wall. And so you start writing jokes about those people. And then the next day, some producer comes and takes that picture down and goes, oh, they're not in anymore. And then you're like, well, I'm glad I just wrote 50 jokes about them. Great.
Have you seen the show Traitors?
No.
Oh, well, there's like 20 cast members and they murder them off every night. And then the host comes in and just rips the picture. All the pictures are in the dining hall and they rip them down one at a time.
Yeah. It's kind of an exciting, or like, they'll come down and take it down, or they come in with a picture and they'll like kind of put it up and you're like, oh, who's going up on the wall. It's an exciting moment. And then sometimes they put them up and you're like, oh
yeah,
all right,
Kanye again.
But yeah, it's ever changing. It's always changing. At any job, not even just for roasts, but like any writing job I've ever had, the first like week or two, you're doing a lot of stuff that is just pointless and never going to get used because a lot of times they don't even know what the show is yet. They don't know. So there's a lot of that where you're just like, well, I just wasted a lot of time writing stuff that didn't really need to be written, but what else are we going to do?
Yeah. Do you want to write for late night?
I would, for the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there anything you wouldn't write on?
No. I'm ready to sell out however I can.
Okay. You want that WGA check?
Yeah. Anything.
Would you write narrative?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think that's even more money.
Yeah.
I write some scripts, that I personally would like to get made. I've written some of those, but yeah, I would write on like a narrative show for sure.
Does writing on a roast, does that put a full pause in writing for yourself?
Yeah, for those few weeks for sure. Yeah.
You ever take anything that didn't make a roast and kind of, you go, that one's good, I might just kind of.
After the Brady roast, because people would bring me on stage as like she wrote on the Tom Brady roast, I would do some of that. Like I would just talk about the roast, and I would do a couple jokes that I liked that didn't get used or whatever. But in the context of like, I didn't say like, here's some jokes I wrote that didn't get used. I was just talking about working on the roast, and I would bring someone up and say something about them or whatever. Mostly Kim Kardashian, but then I stopped doing it because I was like, I feel bad just trashing Kim Kardashian for no reason because she's honestly really sweet.
Yeah,
and
she's a sweetheart.
I felt really bad that she got booed when she went on stage because she was like such a good sport and like so willing to make fun of herself. And
this is a real bad time for her.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but like stories about her being very kind. And so I felt really bad when she went on stage and that happened. And kudos to her because she was able to take that, do her set, and by the end people were cheering for her. Mm-hmm. And that's like cool.
Yeah,
which
she won them over.
I know the boos were edited out, but I don't think she should have. I think that was maybe a decision her team made that they asked Netflix, but I was like, girl, you should have left them in because that's like a big flex to be like, they were booing me when I went up and by the end they were cheering me. That's more impressive than if they already wanted you to do well.
Yeah. And it's a bigger turnaround than they weren't laughing and then I got them to laugh.
Yeah.
Like booing is hard.
Yeah. That's like they actively dislike you. They don't want you to do well and you're gonna do well anyway. And that's badass. So I had some jokes that it wasn't even just like, it was just I liked the jokes and so I was doing them, but then I was like, I don't want to just be randomly trashing Kim Kardashian. Like I'm not Kathy Griffin. I'm not someone who's just gonna, I mean, there's a time and a place for that, people just going out and trashing celebrities. I think that's great. I hate that, like, I feel like a lot of comedy now is like celebrity worship and all these comics are like wanting to buddy up with like celebrities. And it's like a whole thing. I'm like, this is so stupid. Like, I think we're supposed to be anti that. Like, we should be calling out celebrities' bullshit and like not participating in celebrity worship.
Right.
But I think comedians right now like want to be celebrities.
Yes.
When it's like, I don't think we should be that.
I think there's a lot of comedy worship now too. Like, once a comedian hits a certain echelon, which is usually like the theater or arena level, then there's a lot.
Great, but like, I think that makes comedians hold back or do things they normally wouldn't. I just think we shouldn't be worried about being friends with certain celebrities or, you know, wanting to be in with the A-list people, because our job is to make fun of that.
Yeah.
I feel.
I was so guilty of that when I first started. I was like, oh, I picked a comedian. I was like, I want to come up through this lane right here when I didn't know anything about comedy.
Yeah.
And I got some really fortunate opportunities with some other guys that were just as big, but I still had this like, well, I got to go over here. I got to get in this team.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oof, I'm really kind of glad that didn't happen.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's like it should be anyone's goal to piss someone off or like even make fun of them. But I think if you're too concerned with being in with a certain crowd or too concerned with like being able to play golf with Tom Brady, like you're just going to hold back and you're not going to like say the thing that you want to say or whatever. But on the other hand, that's probably why I'm not going to be as successful as some other people.
Oh, I don't know.
You know, because I know some very successful comedians and they're very diplomatic in the way that they work, and they're luckily able to make it seem like they're not, but they are. And I should probably learn from them.
I was really worried about like not alienating one or the other side of the political spectrum.
Yeah.
Because I really don't give a shit.
Same.
But the things that I do give a shit about, like they clearly identify on one side or the other of the aisle. And I wasn't talking about those things. But now I'm like, I'm just going to talk about like things that directly affect me. And if it appeals or disagrees with one or the other side, what you don't want to do is alienate everybody.
Yeah, it's funny because I studied political science, like that was my major in college, and then I kind of pivoted into comedy. But when I first started comedy, like my parents, like my friends, they all assumed that that's what I was going to do, was political comedy, and I was like, that's the opposite of what I want to do. Because when I was studying it, I was so sad. Like I was just like, this is fucked up. And when I went into it, I was very idealistic, and I was someone who thought like I was going to help change the world. And then when I studied it, I was like, that's impossible. And maybe my ideas could change the world in an idealistic world where people are all decent and, you know, whatever. But you realize that you're dealing with humans
yes,
who are imperfect and petty, and
both sides of the aisle, once they're elected, they're all one big team. It's them against us, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, not even political parties, but just like even like certain countries, and just like things where you're like, this would be so easy if we just did this, and it's like, well, yeah, but because they hate them and they hate that, like it's all really like fucked up. And it made me really sad to be like, to give up on the idea of making the world a better place. And so I just kind of became very depressed, and so I just started watching a lot of comedy to escape that. And so I didn't even want to talk about that in my comedy. When I do comedy, I want people to come together and laugh, and like, no matter who you are, just be able to kind of escape the shitty world that we live in. And so I don't really want to remind people how, and there's a time and a place for that. There's comedians who are really good at that, at being like, look at how shitty our world is and let's make jokes about it. I don't even want to address it. I'm like, let's just talk about this over here, because I'm sick of looking at the world. I'm sick of looking at it.
Yeah. I just recently was told, because I asked, that I get angry at the minutia of life. Like big things don't bother me. I don't really care who the president is, but like if my coffee isn't made the right way or someone cuts me off in traffic, it's going to be a problem. And I couldn't receive it for the longest time. I was like, that's not true. That makes me, I was getting mad at them telling me the truth about, and these are people who know me the best.
Yeah.
But once I accepted that information, and I was like, oh, well then I'm just going to write about me. And I'm going to write about the little things. Has my collar been up this whole time?
I didn't notice.
We got to start over.
You would think as a comedian I'd be more observant. You'd think as a roaster I'd be more observant. But
we did an hour and my collar's up. That's okay. But I've been trying to embrace that and just write about little stuff. Like pull a little bit of I was going to say Jerry Springer. That's not right. Jerry Seinfeld. That would be funny.
You know, we don't really have a Jerry Springer of comedy, and I think maybe there needs to be one.
I would say that Tim Dillon would be the closest.
Interesting.
Because he did a special where it was just like Springer-esque for Netflix.
Oh, was that like This Is America, or This Is You America, or something like that?
Yeah, he just got a little stage in Burbank, and he just got 30 people to sit in the audience, and he had people come out and was like, "That's your baby daddy."
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. Do you ever do any character stuff like Adam Ray does Dr. Phil?
No.
I'm
not good at that stuff.
I don't know how to pick one. Like I would never sit around and be like, I think I'm just going to go out on stage as Dr. Phil tonight.
I'm not good at being anything but myself, and that's I think part of what is appealing about me, but also part of what limits me as a comedian. I mean, I was saying to someone pretty recently, because I was getting frustrated with the fact that I feel like I've gotten further in the writing world than in the stand-up world. And there was a night where I was I didn't do well because I felt like I just wasn't selling my jokes well, because I was like, I hate all of these. And I just wasn't feeling good about myself. And I was like, maybe this is why I should just be a writer and not a performer, because I'm not good at, if there's something going on inside of me, I'm not good at pretending it's not. Or if I don't like something, I'm not good at pretending that I like it. Like I'm not great at pretending in general. And then that person that I was talking to was like, no, that's why you should perform. Like, that's why it's authentic, and we need that.
Do you address it when you go on stage? If something's bothering you, do you just right off the top go like...
I probably should. It depends on what's bothering me, because sometimes it's just hormonal. And I'm not going to go out there and be like, I'm on my period.
Well, that's why we can't have a woman president, am I right?
Well, yes. Here's the thing. I would never say that a woman... As a woman, my hormones affect me very, very deeply, and really make a huge difference on my life and decision making and the way that I act. So I think there are tons of women who can be president. I could never. Because of that, I would be too emotional.
But you could write for the president.
I'm probably setting women back like 50 years by saying that. I personally am too emotional to be president.
Let me tell you something.
Me personally,
the number of people that watch this show is not setting America back any number of years. It might be an hour.
Yeah, but 10 years from now, when
this is the number one podcast in the world.
or if I have fans and then they are just like searching up Nicole Buchanan and they're like, oh, here's a podcast she did 10 years ago. And
this
like,
will be the last thing that comes
She just said women will never be able to be president. No, I think there are so many women who are very capable of that. I never could. I am way too emotional to be in any kind of really professional scenario in general.
Same.
That's why I had to do this, because I'm too emotional to hold any kind of power in general.
When you said that you thought you were further along in writing than you were in comedy,
mm-hmm.
My instant thought was there's 1,000 comedians that would love to be in your shoes.
Yes.
They want those writing jobs.
Absolutely.
And I think about a lot of comedians that are well known, but they write more than they do stand up now.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a perfect balance for you? Like, what's the perfect balance of like writing and performing?
I don't know. The reason I like doing stand up is because that's all me, right? Like, I get to write it, but also I get to perform it. If you're writing for someone, like I said, I've written for people who have no comedic instincts, and that can be really frustrating. And you can be really proud of something that you wrote, and then it just gets fucked up. So that's why stand-up appeals to me, is whether I'm failing or succeeding, it's all me. It's in my performance, it's in my writing, so that's just what appeals to me most. But I don't make a lot of money doing it because I'm not well known. But writing is just, there's a lot less pressure when you're just like in a writer's room. Like I said, it's a teamwork thing. It's a lot of fun. And you make a lot more money than you would as a stand-up who isn't well known. And that provides me security and happiness, because money does equal happiness.
It's just so true. That's the truest thing anyone's ever said.
Like, it's so bad, because in my early 20s, and I was very, very depressed. I still am, but it's a lot of how I feel has to do with how stressed I am about money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. So
before the pandemic, I did okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't rich, but I just never looked at my bank account and I bought whatever I wanted to.
It's great.
And now it's like, well, there's nobody shooting anything in LA right now, so maybe hold off on that second Ferrari.
It makes a big difference. And so I'll probably never stop doing writing jobs. And I think I'm good at it, and that feels good. But as far as just feeling creatively fulfilled, stand-up is what appeals to me.
What a great way to end. But
Thanks.
we're not going to end yet.
Okay.
Because I've got some highly clippable would you rather questions.
Okay.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's see if I can read my own handwriting.
Okay.
These don't have to be rapid fire. I can edit them down.
Okay.
So you can answer however you like. Would you rather have friends much smarter than you or friends who are much more attractive than you?
Interesting. There's benefits to both, I think. I would rather have friends much more attractive than me, because I do. And let me tell you, it's great. Because if you are smart or have talent or whatever, the hard part is getting that to be seen. And hot friends, they help you get seen. You know, I have a friend who, you know, she draws people in, you know, because she's very attractive. And as she's drawing them in, she goes, you got to watch her stand. It's so funny. You know what I mean?
That's like, nice.
That kind of thing. Or, you know, this doesn't feel good necessarily, but just like, if a guy wanted to buy them a drink, they'd be like, oh, can you buy my friend a drink too? You know, you can use attractive friends to your advantage.
Yeah.
Friends that are smarter than you, you just feel dumb all the time.
I must not have any smart friends. My best friend in my 20s and 30s and the singer in my band was a very attractive guy.
Yeah.
And I always felt less than we went out.
Sure.
So, but we would be talking, if we were talking to girls, I would crack a couple of jokes and they would touch his shoulder and be like, oh, Craig, you're so funny. I'm like, he was like, he couldn't talk to people. I had to teach him how to speak to people.
Do you know how many times I've been like a Cyrano de Bergerac for my friends?
Yeah.
I craft their text messages for them to guys all the time.
Right. And Tinder messages and like, should I say this? I'm like, no, you're actually saying this when you say that. People don't get it. There's like a bunch of us behind the scenes helping these attractive people.
Yeah.
Not that we're not attractive, but helping our more attractive friends speak to each other. I just want to throw a bunch of attractive people in a room and just try and listen to them talk. But
well, have you watched like The Bachelor?
It's on in the house sometimes, so I've seen some of it. But like Fuckboy Island or something like that, that's hard to watch.
I was watching a show called Love Island.
Oh yeah,
and
I'm caught up.
Sometimes it's very fun it's like people watching from your living room. You know, I'm not above it. I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
And I remember like a specific like hot just couple having a conversation, and they were like saying how they like to read. and she was like, oh my God, I love to read. And he was like, really? And she's like, yeah, sometimes I'll just pick up the dictionary. She was saying that she likes to read the dictionary.
What season was that?
I was like, there's no fucking way you read the dictionary, and if you do, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But like the fact that they were like, that's the book that she picked. She's like, this is my favorite book. It's the dictionary.
What's your favorite verse from the dictionary?
It's crazy.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I don't know. Hot people are fun they're fun to watch.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And study as a species. What makes me feel bad is when I meet a very attractive person who is also smarter than me.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, fuck you.
Right. They hit the genetic lottery.
Now I can't even like be self-righteous and be like, you're so hot and dumb. You know, like I have to be like, fuck.
Yeah. Is there a comedian that's super hot and smart?
Yeah.
Never mind.
My idea of super hot is different than other people's idea of super hot.
What's your idea?
You know, I have a type.
What's your
isn't
type?
Necessarily the most conventionally attractive.
Okay.
My type is funny and smart.
Okay.
So like,
yeah.
If they are funny and smart, I find them attractive. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No. I get it.
So yes, I think there are comedians who are super hot and smart and funny, but I don't know if other people would agree.
I would love to know who you're talking about, but I'm not going to paint you into a corner like that. Would you rather explore the ocean or explore space?
I would rather explore space. The ocean is scary.
I think they're both terrifying.
They are both terrifying, but
and by explore space, I mean you have to actually go like near the moon-ish, not just Katy Perry it, and just kind of take a plane ride.
Interesting. Yeah, they are both really scary, but water. The idea of drowning scares me.
You know what's interesting is that the last time you were here, you said it was very peaceful.
I've heard it's peaceful.
Oh, okay.
I've never drowned. But that's what you hear, right? You hear that it's...
Sorry, you've never drowned?
No, never done it.
I guess that's not the stupidest thing to assume because you could like CPR somebody back from drowning.
Yes. So I've heard people tell stories that they just like... it was a very peaceful moment that they accepted that they're going to die and it wasn't, scary. I guess in space you could suffocate and that does not seem peaceful. I
think you freeze first. I don't know. I've never been to space, but
space just seems cooler to me. Even the ocean's pretty cool. Space, I like the idea that there's nothing else. Like there's no, I mean, there might be other life forms, but not probably where I would be able to explore. So I like the idea of the solitude of space. Whereas when you're in the ocean, you don't know what's going to fucking eat you or whatever.
It's true.
Yeah.
Would you rather get crushed in a submarine or sucked out into space in a spacecraft? You know that because the guys that went down there in that little tin can?
Well, I feel like sucked out into space, that seems quicker. Right?
Yeah, I mean, even though your body freezes and like you can't breathe, I think you still get a couple of minutes of like floating. If you get crushed, that's instantaneous. You're out. Yeah.
So I think, crushed in a submarine, you mean?
Yeah.
But they were like down there for a while. I don't think they like instantly died.
Yeah, I think they got to have a little bit of fun, but like once there's a problem in a submarine, it's not like, let's fix that. Lights out. Like, right?
I don't know.
You're not a submarine scientist?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what happens to you.
I just assume that once it starts to go, it's just...
The idea of death to me is very appealing in general.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I'll take either or. But I think space just seems like cooler.
Yeah. More people will remember your name if you die in space.
It's true.
Because less people have been to space.
Yeah.
Real space.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not taking anything away from the Katy Perry trip.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are shitting on it. I mean, they didn't go that high.
Yeah.
Here's something that'll blow your mind, hopefully, because it blew my mind. My friend, very intelligent buddy of mine, musician, Travis Knight, he said that he doesn't believe, he believes we're in a simulation. And the reason he believes in a simulation is because he was taught in science class that a gas can only be contained by a solid. Mm-hmm. So our oxygen that's around the earth, what's it being contained by? It's being contained by another gas. So he says that the atmosphere doesn't exist. Therefore, the oxygen is being contained by a solid. Therefore, we must be in a simulation.
Interesting.
Yeah, it hurt my head.
Yeah.
You don't have to comment on that. It's just something stupid that my buddy said.
I want to say stuff, but then I'm like, I'm going to come off as an idiot if I say anything.
I mean,
because I don't know.
I think there's a scientist out there going like, obviously air can be contained by our atmosphere or what. There's a scientific explanation for it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is. When he said it, I was like, whoa.
I'm sure it's some kind of pressure thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to be. I just didn't have enough science to retort. So I was like, oh man, that's a cool thing that you said, Travis.
Well, and I don't know.
All right, moving on. Would you rather have no such thing as music or no such thing as art? And music is art, so this is a fucking tough one, and you can say pass if you don't like it.
Like, you mean like visual art?
Sure, because if we include comedy as art, then obviously you'd pick comedy.
Yeah. If you're talking like paintings, drawing, that kind of stuff,
yeah,
doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
I've always hated museums.
Okay. I've never been to any Los Angeles museums.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I hate them.
I get it, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't understand when people stand there and stare at it for a long time. Like, I'll see it and I'm like, cool, and then I'll move on.
Yeah.
You know? So
it's like trying to get through an IKEA without stopping for anything. Just, I saw it. I didn't buy anything. I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun to look at, but it's not something that, whereas like music, I could sit there and listen to the same song over and over and over again and find new things to like about it. And so I think I'm just more of an audio person than I am a visual person.
Do you have a new hot track that you're listening to right now? What's your jam?
You know what I one time said? I was like, I would rather someone read my diary than see like my Spotify Wrapped.
Okay. That's fair.
Because I just, I do get stuck on songs. Maybe it's like an autism thing. I don't know. Because I've been told that before, that like if you're someone who listens to the same song over and over and over again, that's like
then I have
on
autism.
The spectrum thing.
Yeah.
But I think we all do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll just get stuck on songs that I just haven't heard in a long time. I think a lot of times it's like a nostalgia thing. So like lately I keep listening to All I Wanted by Paramore.
Okay.
Do you remember that song?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That song, it's really hitting for me right now.
Mm-hmm. Not
for any reason. Like I'm not like thinking about a person and being like, all I wanted was you. But like it just the nostalgia of that song. And also just like there's a part where she hits it a cappella and I'm like, oh fuck. I had such a huge crush on her.
Oh yeah, everybody. Well, I don't want to say everybody, but same.
Yeah. So that's one of the songs I've been listening to a lot on repeat lately.
I just discovered Turnstile on Saturday.
Okay. Is that like a new artist?
No.
Oh.
My buddy's been recommending them for years, and then Chappelle Lacey posted a clip from being at the show, and I was like, I should check them out. And then I found one song that I liked, and I put it on repeat. I listened to it for like 5 hours on Sunday.
My dad was making fun of me pretty recently he said I listen to old people music. I have like the music taste of like a 60-year-old man for
Paramore?
The most part. No, not Paramore. But because we went to an Angel game recently and on the way it was just all like Bob Dylan and the band and Tom Petty.
Yeah, that is 60-year-old dude stuff.
Yeah.
Did you see the movie? Not Tom Petty, the Bob Dylan movie?
I didn't know.
Yeah,
with Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, dude. The only reason I was asking is because his face when he didn't win the Oscar was priceless. He just thought he had it in the bag.
Yeah.
And he like starts to get up.
I love those moments.
Oh yeah.
I love
he's like
those moments.
Fucking 13 years old. He's got the rest of his life to win an Oscar.
Yeah.
Give him to the old people.
People really love him though.
Oh, they do. Absolutely.
People love Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, he's our new Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, people really loved him too. And I was like, I was never like a Titanic fan.
No.
When I was a kid, I remember like all my friends loved Titanic. And I was just like, this is boring.
It's very long.
Yeah. I didn't get it. I didn't get why like other people liked it. Other kids. I feel like kids should not be into something that boring.
Yeah. And you know the ending.
Yeah.
And there was enough room on the door for him.
Yeah.
Would you rather string your opponent along for the entire fight or crush them from the start? That implies that you're fighting someone.
Yeah.
So you want to come out winning? Like you want to hit the first punch? Are you a fighter?
I'm not. I like martial arts. I like doing it. But no, I wouldn't say I'm a fighter. I would like to be. I would like to get in a fight. I think that would be fun.
Somebody can catch these hands.
And I would like to crush them from the start. I would like to Ronda Rousey that shit.
All right.
And just kind of take them out immediately.
I think...
Why string it out? I guess to torture them?
If you have the skill and you're kind of like playing with your opponent, then that would be, you could take a few punches, be like, haha, and then you turn it around whenever you feel like it. I guess that would be fun.
Yeah.
But to just know the whole time that, like, I'm winning this fight. I'm not a good fighter.
Yeah.
I've been in way too many fights, and I have won very few of them. But I have gotten myself in a situation where I had to fight from talking shit.
Yeah.
And I have stopped because I don't like getting my ass kicked anymore.
See, I talk a lot of shit, and no one's ever tried to fight me. So.
But do you like go up to somebody at a bar and be like, "Hey, man, fuck you"? Like,
no, maybe
that's a fight.
Maybe I should try that.
No. I'm not recommending that at all.
Well, what's funny is like fights will break out there was a period of time. I haven't seen it happen a lot recently, but when I first started working at the store, I feel like fights were happening all the time.
During the shows?
Yeah, not like in the show, but like out on the patio or like out on the, and like security would get in there, Mm-hmm. And I was always like, let me in.
Let me at him. Let me at him.
I was ready. I was always ready to get, I was like, I can't wait for the day that like I have to get involved.
Right. You're the only one around.
Yeah.
Nicole, get in there.
Yeah. I fantasize about it a lot. Also like, yeah, I have fighting fantasies. I have murder fantasies sometimes.
Yeah. You being the murderer?
Yeah.
What's your weapon of choice?
I've probably a knife. No.
Oh, that's close-up killer.
No, yeah, I think that would be too messy. I think I would go suffocation.
That's even more intimate.
Yeah.
Just watching the life go out of somebody's eyes.
Yeah. Or a lot of times my fantasies include me also dying. So, driving off a cliff.
With somebody in the car.
With somebody I hate in the car. No, dude, I'm going off as psycho. Or driving straight into a wall. But, they're just, when I'm mad.
Right.
Those fantasies, I would never actually do it.
That just reminds me of a story I'm going to tell you off air because I have an NDA.
Oh.
Yeah. I hope you didn't read the name that I just wrote down. I hope the camera can't see that. Two more, and then we'll get you out of here.
Okay.
Would you rather take ice cold showers and be clean or never shower again?
Ice cold showers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's into cold plunging now.
Sure. Yeah, and they're supposed to be good for you.
But being stinky is not good for anybody.
No, I would hate that. That's like my biggest fear is smelling bad.
Yeah, ever since I quit smoking cigarettes, I've realized that for 20 years or 25 years, at least I had the scent of cigarettes to cover me.
Yeah.
And now if I smell, I just smell. I'm just like the smelly guy.
Yeah.
And that's not great. And now I'm getting my sense of smell back, and I smell bad more often than I thought I would.
Yeah, because we all know those people that smell bad, and you're like, do they know? Like, I don't think they know, or else they wouldn't continue to smell bad all the time.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a medical thing. So I've always been afraid of that I don't know that I smell.
I've always been also afraid that my house smelled. People have house smells.
People have house
and
smells.
then you're smell blind to it.
Yeah.
And then people come over and they're like,
I feel like my car might have a little bit of that.
oh, my car's a dumpster.
My car, yeah, a lot of trash. And I drink a lot of like after I get done at the gym, I'll get like a protein shake, like a pre-made one. And then I'll just kind of leave it in the car. And I feel like there's probably an expired protein shake smell to my car. Even though I finish it, I feel like the remnants probably.
Yeah, there's a couple things growing in your car probably.
Probably, yeah.
All right, last one. This is really stupid. Would you rather have 2 left feet or 2 left hands?
I guess 2 left feet because I've never I don't have to really do anything with my feet except walk. And I don't think I have more trouble walking with my left foot than my right foot.
My only counterpoint, I think you're right. But I think you buy more shoes than you buy gloves. So,
yes. So it would get a little expensive.
Every time you buy shoes, you got to buy 2 of them.
Yes. But you know what? I think that'd be worth it because I can't do shit with my left hand.
You would learn. Are you a right-handed writer?
Yeah.
Can you imagine typing with 2 left hands?
No.
You'd have to get a special keyboard.
Yeah. That would be tough. I don't think I could do that. I think 2 left feet. If I have to buy more shoes, fine. I don't buy a lot of shoes in general, so it's like if I have 2 or 3 pairs, which would mean I would have to have
6 pairs,
4 to 6 pairs. That's fine.
What do you do with the right shoes?
Find someone with 2 right feet. I don't know.
I mean,
find someone with 1 leg that needs shoes.
Oh yeah, you could donate them to people with prosthetics. So there's always a solution.
Yeah.
Never a problem. Nicole, this was great. Again, killed it twice.
Oh, stop it.
Thank you for coming back.
Of course, anytime.
I would say tell everybody where they can find you on the internet, but they've been staring at Nicole Buchanan.
That's where.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everywhere. All platforms.
Becannon.
Do you know how many times I got your name wrong last time?
No.
You remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
It's the first
people get it wrong all the time.
3 minutes of the last episode of me going Buchanan, and I probably said it 400.
I don't even know how to say it.
I would say that you'd be the first person that needs to teach us all how to say it.
I mean, do any of us really know how to say our last names?
No, and I changed mine. So
we just decide how it's pronounced, or our parents tell us, but you don't really know if that's how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
I just know it's not Buchanan, which is what people want to say.
Maybe change it.
I could. Maybe I should, because I feel like if people hear my name and they want to look it up, that's what they look up. And that's detrimental to me.
But if you're going as far as to just add a letter,
yeah, why
stop there? You can have any last name you want.
It's true. I like my last name. I think it kind of rolls off the tongue. And I'm used to it. But you're right. I could do a stage name.
Which is? I'm not going to put you on the spot like that.
I think I'm going to get rid of the second part of my first name and the first part of my last name and just go by Nick Cannon. That's not taken, right?
No, I don't know any. I've never heard that name.
Perfect.
You also have to have 14 children.
That's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Nick Cannon.
That's crazy because even if I started now and had 1 per year,
yeah,
I don't think I would make it.
You'd be my age by the time you had 14.
I'd have to have a few kids. I mean, twins. I have to have a few twins.
Yeah.
That would help.
Yeah, you could skip a couple of years if you had some twins.
I would be wrecked, dude. Oh, my God.
I know some ladies that have many kids.
All by themselves, 14?
Well, their husband helped.
Well, sure.
Yeah, just religious folks in the South.
That's a lot. God bless them.
Literally.
Yeah.
Nicole, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, everybody. And we'll see you next time. Did I say thanks for watching?
I think you did, yeah.
Thanks for watching.